Welcome, sports fans, to another episode of College Football Recap. I hope everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving. I'll get you the information you need to know for your college football weekend. In this show, I'm going to discuss the Wolverines game against the Scarlet Knights last week, as well as preview their game with the Nittany Lions, and then the Spartans game with the Northwestern Wildcats. In this segment, I'm going to talk about the Wolverines game against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, played last week. Jim Harbaugh said it was a win at all costs type of game, and it certainly was. If the Wolverines had not won it, I can only imagine how hot the hot seat would have gotten for Jim Harbaugh. And after getting down 17-0 to the Scarlet Knights, it sure looked like the Wolverines were on their way to another defeat. However, Jim Harbaugh decided to pull Joe Milton and put in Cade Alexander, which I suggested that he start him, but in any event, thankfully 17 points was not too big a deficit for Cade Alexander to overcome. Wolverines started climbing back into the game, got back in it pretty quickly, and then kind of went from there, but it was still a tight game throughout. Game ended up going into overtime, and double overtime, and triple overtime, where the Wolverines eventually prevailed. Now, what I didn't find out until today is that the Wolverines actually celebrated that win afterwards. And while I'm not going to say, and I think it's unfair to compare anybody in Wolverines history to Bo Schembechler, and I know I've done this a few times already, especially with Jim Harbaugh, who played for him, I will say that if Bo Schembechler were the head coach of the Wolverines, there is no way he would have allowed them to celebrate this win against the Scarlet Knights. No way, no how. In fact, he probably would have been benching some people the next week if they had. Because he would have said something like, a Michigan Michigan team ought to beat the Scarlet Knights. So what are you guys celebrating? Something to that extent, anyway. I really have not understood the Wolverines this year. I'm not going to proclaim to understand the Wolverines. And the way things have gone, it's been really strange. But one thing's been consistent, and that is how bad their defense has been. That's for sure. And that was on display once again against the Scarlet Knights. And especially scoring defense, giving up 42 points to them. Wolverines are very fortunate they won the game, to be sure. In the next segment, I will preview the Wolverines game tomorrow against the Nittany Lions and share some details and facts for you on that. Stay tuned to College Football Recap on Ed's Sports Channel.